Welcome everybody, Level M Diecast, dropping some Matchbox on you guys today. This is 2024 Off-Road Rally, Walmart exclusive set. We've seen Off-Road Rally from Matchbox before, but this is brand new for 2024. As typical, there are 6 cars in the mix. 3 are going to be carryovers. Those are going to be the first 3 we take a look at here. Yes, we will compare all of those to their previous iterations. And then the 3 in the back are going to be the brand spanking new releases. So kind of tease you a little bit as we move through. We will go backwards. Starting from number 6, this is the card art. Looks pretty good. This one is the Ridge Raider. This is a carry forward model from back in the day. There is the entire mix. So it's, pretty average mix. There's the assortment deets. There's the barcodes, all that good stuff should you need all that info there. So this is our new Ridge Raider. We will go ahead and crack this guy open. This is a generic casting, but I think it's a pretty good one. Ridge Raider right there on the bottom. See, they did get rid of date stamps. So there's no more date stamps on the models, so that could be an issue moving forward, although you still do get a date stamp on the card. So T08. So these were made in the later part of February. So pretty good turnaround for these. This is our original release for this guy right here. This is the original one right here. This one is dated potentially. Looks like this one doesn't have a date code on it either. So this one must be very, very old. This one must be like pre-2013. I don't remember exactly where this one came out, but this is the original release of it. This one on the top is going to be our current release. They do sport the same wheels. They do have the same deco on the side, although the original one there on the bottom does have much lighter mud on there. The brown's much lighter, and the orange for the Raider is not as neon as the new one is there on the top. But other than that, they are the same decos, but again, just different enough. They do still both sport the orange tinted window, so nothing different there. As far as the paint goes, the new one there on the top is definitely thinner, but they are both white pearl, which looks pretty good. And you see there's a huge change right there. So the original one's on the bottom. You see all that diamond plating detail in the plastic. Look at that. They got rid of all of it on that new one on the top. So that's interesting. It's very interesting. I'm not really sure what is the point of getting rid of the texture in there. I think the texture actually looks pretty good, but that's a pretty significant change. One interesting thing about this casting too is this is a hook assembly casting. So they hook those fog lights there in the front that is hooked, and then there's just a single rivet in the back. So, we've heard a lot of issues about, hook assembly models are not okay. They're considered a safety hazard or whatever. So I'm not really sure how they pulled this one off, but it's good nonetheless. Other than that, no details. Very interesting to see the interior change. Definitely did not expect that one whatsoever, so it's very interesting. All right, this is the Toyota Land Cruiser, the FJ40 1968. This is a reissue from a previous release. This was the original release for this particular deco was back before the tooling was changed, so the changes on this model are going to be significant. This is number 5 of 6 as we move backwards. So we'll get our Toyota Land Cruiser. So there is your Land Cruiser. You see this is the updated casting that has all the plastic around the fenders and stuff like that. So that means that the interior is going to be gold to match that plastic section. But it looks pretty good. This is a relatively old reissue. So this is our original one here. E51 is the day code. So this one is very, very old. You see this is a hook assembly model as well. Hooked in the back, just one single rivet. But this is the original casting. You see it is all metal casting. This one also sports the cog wheels versus the utility 6-spoke. I think the wheels on the bottom are much, much, much better. But the deco on the side, there are the same deco. The golds are very dramatically different. See that new one on the top is much, much darker, richer gold. Definitely like the color on the top better, but the existing casting there on the bottom has way better details because it is the all metal version versus the plastic, as you can see. Details on the other side are the same between the two. And then there is the deets in the back. It is still a hook assembly model. So didn't realize that, but they are still hook assembling it. And then as far as the base details go, there are the base deets. See, there is quite a few changes to it to accommodate all that extra plastic, which is unfortunate. And of course, the original one had a black interior because it was a separate piece versus the new one has a gold interior because that is part of the body section on the outside. All right, moving on to the International Scout 4x4, 1976. This will be the fourth, yes, ladies and gentlemen, the fourth time we are seeing this particular release. It's a doozy. It's a doozy. So we'll go ahead and get this cracked. But I got a little Easter egg. Even though this is the fourth release, there's a little Easter egg with this. So there is our International Scout. This did debut as this one right here. This was the first iteration right here. This one looks pretty good. This casting's been modified from its original release. This one is dated F41. This was the original release for it. We did get a wheel variation that came out a few weeks later, F48. This was a factory wheel variation back in the day. The newer off-road wheels versus the older cog-style wheels, which looks pretty good. Nothing really fancy with it, just, wheel variation and whatnot. And then we got a reissue of it. I'm not exactly sure where this one came out of, but I feel like it came out of maybe Weekend Cruisers Part 1, maybe. But you see, this is a reissue of the one with the cog wheels. So this one was dated R05. Now, they did change this casting. Now, the only thing they changed on this casting was behind the spare tire. See how that's all smooth? This was the original version. It had texture in there. So it seems like Matchbox is getting rid of a lot of their texture for some reason. I'm not really sure why, but they're doing that. So even though this was a reissue, it was a casting change, and it was significant. I feel like casting changes are significant. So that was this one. And now we get this reiteration, which has the newer off-road wheels and the casting change. So now we have both wheel variations with both casting variations for each one. However, there's one difference with this particular casting. They left off the International logo. You see that International logo there? It was left off of the new release. I'm not really sure why. Maybe there was a licensing issue with the actual logo itself. But either way, that part has been omitted from the deco. So the deco has changed just a little bit. However, we do have both the newer off-road wheels with both the interior variations in there. And then, of course, we have both of the older off-road wheel with the interior variation on there too. So even though there's been 4 releases of this one, it's worth it. They're all good. They're all worth it. So, all right, moving on to number 3. This is a brand spanking new deco for this particular release. 90 Volkswagen Golf Country. This was also in the original Off-Road Rally. This one does have an interior variation. I did pick up 2 of these at Walmart. However, both had the same interior variation in the back. So I'm definitely disappointed about that one. All but 2 releases of this have always been black interior, which makes the interior variation in the back there very, very difficult to see. Don't think we will be able to see it on the camera. There you go. All right, so you see how there's a toolbox on the right, and there's like a jerry can on the left, and then like some stuff next to the jerry can. So the variation is there's still a toolbox on the right, but there's no jerry can. And instead of there being a bunch of jerry cans or a bunch of stuff in the jerry cans, there's actually a chainsaw in the back. So this is a very, very difficult interior to spot because it's black, and it's very, very difficult to see through the blister and then through the window. Just very, very difficult. But I can confirm that the 2 that I picked up were the same interior, but I can confirm that the interior variation still exists. Deco on the side looks pretty good. Does say Golf on the side. Bilstein does have Falcon on there. It is in orange. Does have the 5 spoke wheels on there, which looks pretty decent. Orange color on this one. It's a cool casting. I definitely like this casting a lot. Checking out the base deets again. No more base date codes. So moving forward, this will be much, much harder to do our comparos. It'll be a very interesting process as we move forward. All right, next one up. This one, number 2 of 6. This is a casting that dates all the way back to the Kenner days. Jeep 4x4. This is the Wrangler. This casting's been modified a bajillions of times since it first exploded onto the market in the mid-'80s, maybe early '80s, as a Kenner. This is the least cool version of the casting. It used to have an antenna on there and stuff like that. It used to be a little bit more proportioned. You see, they still do have the Warren winch logo there on the winch, which is kind of cool. The guard right here, they put a lot more plastic in it. It's much more beefy, less likely to break, but the original one was thinner and it just looked better. This casting's always been a little bit off. This is a brand new decal for this one, though. You see, they do have the update or the older-ish off-road wheel in there. They used to be the 80s off-road wheel that they had before they tooled it up. So this is a reoccurring theme. It's not always green. Sometimes they're orange. I think maybe one has been red. But they go up in numbers. So this is up to number 9. I'll try to see if I can find some in the catalog that I have. I'll throw some up on the screen if I can find some of the older numbers. I know for sure they did like a Raptor and stuff like that, so I'll have to figure that out. But definitely a cool reoccurring theme. Up to number 9. It does say CJ7 on the side. The green is pretty nice. Does have a tow hitch on there. The Ridge Raider also had an integrated tow hitch, which is kind of weird. But other than that, it looks okay. It's okay. There is your base deets. 1983, which was a new casting for Matchbox at the time, versus 2013 when this was retooled. So 30 years after its original release, it was retooled. And now we're another 10 plus years past that retool, and it's still rocking. All right, number 1 of 6, brand spanking new deco, 2016 Colorado Extreme, Chevy Colorado. Does say ZR2 on the side. Super, super cool. Brand new deco for this guy. We don't have too many decos for this one, so I'm glad this is one of the ones they chose to give a brand spanking new deco for. Get the light fixed there just a little bit. Apologize about that. So there is the details on the side. It says MBX Rally. It says ZR2. There's a big Chevy symbol behind it. Tons and tons of Chevy symbols all over the Chevy Performance. Number 15. No decos on the top or anything like that. Does sport the small 6-spoke wheels just in black. I always hate these side passes, so they try to get the headlight in there. It looks okay from the side, but you look at it from the front, it just looks absolutely terrible with them trying to get that side pass with the headlight. But the back looks pretty good. You can actually see the taillights from the back. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. Decal on the other side is exactly the same. It is it's kind of a satin black finish to it. It's not matte black, but it's kind of a satin black. A little bit of print on the side for the snorkel too, which is pretty cool. So pretty happy about that. Again, very interesting to see no base codes. We're going to have to get used to that for sure. So no more base codes from Matchbox. So there you go. That is MBX Off-Road Rally 2024 edition. First set, Walmart exclusive here in the U.S. Nice comparos for you. Not a bad set. It's actually a pretty good set. I'm happy with the changes on the carry forwards. We don't get it too often, but we'll take it when we can get it. So anyways, we're going to roll out. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Catch you next time here. Leveling that kill race.